Welcome to, it's going to be our very last segment of meditation with and conversation with Marbeth and friends. And we have an amazing panel for you. I'm just so excited. We have CHARMAINE Hammond, we have Scott Schilling, we have Susan KOZIAK, we have Harrison Klein, and you have me. So this is going to be so much fun today. We're going to begin with a meditation because it's always so important to get centered and grounded. And I see we're just a minute before the hour. And so just in the meantime, let's just start to breathe in unison, where we're going to inhale through the nostrils, sitting up very straight. Tuck your chin in just a little bit. It's called the neck lock or the Jalandhar band, which allows the energy, the life force energy, to flow all the way up your spine. So now it is 5 o'clock Eastern, and we are all ready to begin our meditation. So I'm Marbeth Dunn, your host. And we are going to begin to breathe. So let's all close our eyes, sitting up straight. And just bring your shoulders up to your ears and rotate them back and down. I'll just do it again. Up and back and down. Yes, wonderful. That is a really great way to begin to release any stress that we might be carrying. Inhaling through the nostrils, inhaling all the way down into the belly, all the way down, following the breath in your mind's eye. And as you exhale, follow it through your body, all the way out again through your nostrils. Again, we're going to inhale, following that breath all the way down into the belly. Now we are all meditating and breathing together, creating a coherence as we inhale and exhale together, coordinating our breath. That's very beautiful. Let's put our hands over the heart. And as we put the hands over the heart, we feel any warmth that's underneath the hands. Just notice that warmth. Bring your awareness there. Bring your awareness into that space below your hand and underneath your hand. And as you notice the warmth, just go in a little deeper into the center of your heart center, the heart chakra. It's the gateway to our divinity. And as we focus on the heart, the center of love, the center of peace within our being, we feel it intensify. That love is intensifying and it's growing. It's just a delicious feeling. You can think of a newborn baby, a newborn puppy, or a kitty, something that makes your heart just swell up with love and appreciation for life. And as you think of this beautiful, or someone that you love, whatever it is, or a place that you love, feel that love and gratitude swelling up within you, and feel it expanding to encompass your whole being, and actually to extend beyond your physical form, to move all the way out throughout your auric field, that energy field that surrounds you. Now, because we are all together on this call, we are going to extend this love out to encompass everyone who is on this broadcast live, and anyone who might be watching this at a later time. So just feel that love reach out to embrace you. And notice that as you are extending love, you are receiving so much love. So just allow that love in. And just feel how delicious it feels to allow yourself to receive it. Feels so yummy. And imagine in your mind's eye, as you're receiving this love that's surrounding you, what does it look like? Is it a pink cloud of love? Is it green, like the color of the heart chakra? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it feel like to be totally receptive to love and appreciation for you and your participation here right now? And let's extend this love out. We can extend it out to embrace all of the wonderful first responders, all of the medical personnel that are giving so much of themselves. We're surrounding each and every one of them with love and appreciation. And we extend it to everyone in our city, in our state, province, our whole country. Just feel that love. It's limitless. We have no limits to our love. It's just expanding out. And it feels so yummy because as we extend it back, notice what's coming back. So we experience so much love and gratitude right now in this moment. How beautiful. Let's let it extend over our entire planet. These unprecedented times. We're surrounding Mother Earth with love. We're surrounding all of humanity with love and appreciation. We are surrounding our source, God source, the universe. We're surrounding all of our angelic beings, masters, teachers, guides. And we include them on our broadcast as well. And now bring this delicious feeling of love back with you. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and come back. And I'm so overjoyed and excited to introduce you to our amazing panel. And so we have, I don't know how it's showing up on you on my screen, I have Harrison on my left. And so Harrison is an award-winning personal growth transformationalist, a wealth and business growth consultant. His mission is to change 1 million lives across the globe and help entrepreneurs and salespeople and executives and coaches and marketers and healers build $1 million enterprises and achieve their best versions of themselves. And he's also my sweetie. We have, say hi, Harrison.
Hi, Marbeth. Hi, everybody.
Good. We have the amazing CHARMAINE Hammond. Now, CHARMAINE, it's so hard to categorize you because you are just the Renaissance woman. And she is an amazing speaker, a best-selling author, and she's known as the Bounce Forward expert. And she is an expert in sponsorship. She's committed to building inspired and resilient workplaces and communities. So CHARMAINE, I'm sure I left a whole bunch of things off because I've known you for years and you're just amazing and inventive and I just adore you. So welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
CHARMAINE, you're the first person I ever danced with in Canada.
we go down in history for that, Harrison.
There you go.
That's awesome.
We have Susan KOZIAK. Susan is an event planner. She has over 30 years experience in the event industry, which is the 5th most stressful career. That's after military, emergency responders, airline pilots, etc. according to Forbes. And she is just amazing. We've known Susan for years. She knows what pressure and stress are like, and she knows how to transform the anxiety in a way that leaves you empowered and ready to take action. I can't wait to hear about that, Susan.
Thank you.
And then we have Scott Schilling, who is like the salesman. He's like an amazing speaker and trainer. He has over 35 years of life experience in sales, marketing, training for corporations, business owners. He has presented over 2,500 live events, and he has shared the stage with General Colin Powell, Rudy Giuliani, Laura Bush, and he's just amazing. So, wow, it's like so wonderful to have all these amazing people.
Fun to be with everybody.
You what?
Yeah, so this is awesome.
I didn't hear what you said.
I just said it's fun to be with everybody.
Oh, fun. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So our theme today is the wind beneath my wings, because here we are, we're in an unprecedented situation where so many people are needing extra support, that wind beneath our wings, so we can fly. And which is an amazing song, that Bette Midler song. It's so powerful. So really, what does it mean to be the wind beneath your wings? Why don't we start with Charmaine?
Wow. I love that song, first of all, so it makes me feel like breaking into song. But when I think of the wind beneath my wings, it's sort of all those people that are in our life that are our champions that we don't actually sometimes even know that they are, those people that are out there doing good in the world and supporting us. And, when I think of the world right now and what's happening, this is so important for us to be resilient and to be coming from a place of support and being a champion for other people and just sort of helping them fly.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yay. Susan, what are your thoughts? Okay,
I'm going to actually continue on that same theme, because I think in a huge way, the wind beneath our wings are all of the people that are in our lives that we help support and that help support us in turn. And I think it's really important right now to surround yourself with amazing, positive people. So I'm really honored, Marbeth, that you chose us to be here with you. And it's the ways that we can help others, but also the way we can be a little bit more receptive to other people helping us. I think the other thing about the wind beneath my wings right now is realizing that I'm not in this alone, whether it's amazing people like you or just a higher power source, God, whatever you want to call it right now, my angels, my helpers, my guides, realizing that while I feel like I might be alone, I'm really not alone in this. And there's so much more beneath my wings helping lift me up to get through this right now.
That's fabulous. Scott, tell me. What are your thoughts?
I would echo all that and just say God just sent us to our rooms for time out, right? And we just have this opportunity to reset and really go back and appreciate everybody who has been there for us and everybody we can be for. I'm fortunate enough to come out of the Ziegler camp here in Dallas, and I learned a long time ago from Zig, you can have everything in life you want when you help enough other people get what they want. And so if we would just all, my platform these days is really about returning respect, honor, and dignity to the planet. How do we get back and just realizing we are all in this together? And if this doesn't, if what's going on hasn't been a proof of two things, number one, we're all in it together, but the other side is when we're up against it, we all come together. It's interesting how a lot of division has been softened, at least, coming together and doing some different things and realizing we all have a world we need to take care of right now. So, get over it. No time for a pity party. Let's just work at it together.
I love it. I think, well, Harrison, I know you're going to have your own take. You always do.
Well, I believe that none of us can fly without wings, and none of us can fly without wind. So all of that has to do with, all the extreme and non-extreme experiences of our lives, And so every single thing that we've ever experienced has come through some other person or some other thing. And those things are responsible for our evolution. And so the wind beneath wings are the evolving or the evolution processes that keep us into the places we are right now. And evolving human beings are all about, soaring higher and higher with the wind underneath their wings.
Ooh, taking off.
Love it.
Yeah. And we like to think, and the best people out there think of themselves as eagles in one form or another, or one of the great spirit animals that are out there are eagles, who are the high flyers and the ones who see the furthest and experience the most, and they couldn't do it without a lot of wings because they have to glide on wind.
Well, I feel like I'm here with a group of eagles. So
let's start singing. I like the way you're flapping your wings.
Okay, Harrison. So we have a post from Nancy Summer. She said some amazing things are happening if we are always paying attention. So yes, it's really lovely to have you here, Nancy. So how are you guys needing some wind beneath your wings? How do you find that you need support, Charmaine?
One of the things when I get restless. So if I'm not focusing is a great kind of clue for me that I'm needing support or healthy distraction. Usually it comes with this need to feel fresh air for me. And I love when you were talking about birds, Harrison, because one of the joys, I just love watching the sky. I mean, I just love watching birds. For me, it's the pull to outdoors usually is, I find the first noticing is I'm distracted and I can't focus. And then I feel restless. And then after that, there's sort of this longing to be outside. It doesn't matter what the weather's like, cold, warm, rainy, snowy, there's just this pull to be with nature, I think.
I think that's beautiful because nature is one of the ways that we can ground ourselves.
Yes.
And it also, I think, having that transition from moving out of the space where you were into this other space, this new space, it also creates that shift, which is, I think, what you were needing. Scott, what about you?
Well, it's I love technology these days. I mean, I'm only doing probably about 30 to 40 Zooms a week right now.
Only.
Seriously. But the fun of that is getting to talk to people in a different way and give them a piece of hope or a definition of the future or, be a little part of their world. That every time, you give, you also get, obviously, right? And so being able to encourage and being able to share some messaging and share those messages of hope and inspiration and realize my speaking career started because of the SARS virus.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
And so I mean, we can get into it sometime, but the fact is it became a time of demarcation in taking a time that some people looked at as obviously being very problematic. And it was a time of opportunity. The yin and the yang and the chaos is where opportunity exists. And we're certainly in chaos, right? So I think if we come together and just realize, I think we're a little gentler right now, right? And a little nicer to each other. And if we do that and we give some encouragement, some hope, some inspiration, it's amazing how that feeds you along the way as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that, Scott. So basically, for you, by giving, you're receiving. That's beautiful. I love that. Susan.
You mentioned that I was an event producer, and during a time where we're not really allowed to gather in groups, it's really kind of difficult to be an event producer. A lot of people are pivoting to digital, but I find myself in a transformative phase. And so I like to think of almost the wind beneath my wings more as a butterfly and being in that chrysalis of really kind of reinventing where I'm at. I know that for a lot of people, especially initially, like now we're kind of past the thing where we're worried about, do we have enough toilet paper? Is there going to be food on the shelves? We're kind of past that initial crisis. But a lot of people have heard things of like, you could read a book, or you should learn a new language, or you should try to do something, declutter your house. And it's really hard sometimes when you're in emotional distress and you're anxious and fearful how to do those things. So for me right now, the support that I'm needing a little bit is, first of all, to forgive myself for maybe not being better prepared, for not being, you know, in a different state with my finances, for not being in a different state with, you know, my business, for example, but also just extreme self-care and taking care of myself so that I can stay focused and centered and grounded. And that means things like, even though I don't necessarily have to be up for a client meeting in the morning, just developing some sort of a consistent routine for myself, making sure that I'm doing my meditations, that I'm eating properly and not just having quarantine rations of popcorn and red wine, and, you know, just really self-care. And then again, reaching out to the people that you love and the people that are there to support you. And I think that that's all really given me a lot of support during this time.
I love that. I think that's really important. So important that we develop different habits, you know, different, you know, and it's interesting because I've developed different habits as well. I'm a Reiki master for like 10, 12 years, something like that, probably longer. And it's, you know, because I do so many other kinds of energy work, it's something that it's just, well, it's been part of what I do, but it's not something that I've been doing. I've been using Reiki on myself twice a day. And I've also, Harrison and I have been walking in the evenings, which has been a wonderful experience, you know, to have that time together. And it's just a beautiful time of day to be walking at sunset. It's just so beautiful. And, you know, there's just so much eye candy here. So I love the different, and I learned how to unclog my bathroom sink and the necessities. And I learned how to put lights in a 13-foot ceiling with one of those long poles. You know, who knew that you could actually, that a bulb would actually stick on that little suction cup? I mean,
Wow.
I know that was huge for me. So, yeah. Harrison, what about you, sweetheart?
You know, one of the things that helps me get centered and it helps me, you know, supports the way that I do things and who I am and all that is the fact that I'm finding the opportunity to be aware of where my attention is, where in my normal busy life, I rush through a lot of things and I don't often see the attention of what is going on. And some of it's by rote, some of it's by, you know, just aggression, and some of it's just by needing to do or go or be or something like that. But I don't always pay attention to where my attention is. So this is an opportunity for me to do that. And one of the things that I notice is that the better I feel, the more I remember the people that I love. And that's really important to me. And so how do I know my life is good? Because it's surrounded with people like you guys, you know, and that's an amazing thing. And without your love, Marbeth, a lot of that would not have come forward for me. So that's a great thing. And so, you know, there's attention to family, attention to people, attention to body, attention to whatever, but being in the moment, being centered in the moment, and being conscious of where my attention is keeps me stronger, and that's all the support I need. So the support is I already know I'm surrounded by loving people, and that love is there, and that, you know, that everything is happening for a reason and is happening for the good of people and not for necessarily the bad. It's not a sentence of something that we did wrong or that, you know, went wrongly awry. I have to believe the source knows what it's doing, and that all this stuff has to do with, you know, a restructuring of humanity's consciousness and ability to be better centered and be better human beings. So that's what all this is. We're all
Beautiful. That's really beautiful. And I have to say that Harrison has such a positive mindset that, you know, he wakes up singing.
Oh, me.
And stays really positive, you know, so it's really easy to be experiencing this quarantine or seclusion with him because he's just very easy to be around, and I really appreciate that. So we are getting some more comments from Nancy, and also some people that have, Michelle Rosano and other people who've been, Dusty Hughes, Marie DeSano, people that have been joining us on Facebook. And I just want to say that if you have any questions, please post them either on Facebook or on the chat. We have been receiving posts from Nancy Summers, and she said that she actually found a letter when she was cleaning her garage. Now, you know, we have to, I don't know about you, but I have to be really inspired to take on a big cleaning like that. Cleaning is not something that comes naturally to me, I do admit it. And you know, she found a letter that was written in 1982 that she believes will be catalytic to finishing her book. So I'm really glad that you jumped in here, Nancy. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome. So Harrison, you touched on what a deeper meaning could be for this current pandemic situation. Do you folks think that there is a deeper meaning to this pandemic, or is it just something that just happened? Is it happening for a reason, and what can we do to facilitate some amazing change? And I'm going to start with Susan.
Thank you for starting with me. You know, it's interesting because I think there's a lot of different directions you can take it, and whether or not it happened for a reason, I think the biggest thing that we can do is the control that we have is how we utilize this time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, again, for you, you said, you know, cleaning and decluttering might not be your thing, and maybe it's just the small actionable steps that you can take every day. Maybe you don't clean out your garage. Maybe you just start with one drawer, that junk drawer in the room. But it's about not being paralyzed by the fear and not knowing, even despite you don't know what's going to happen, just moving through it every day. It's kind of like I look at it like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. Every day I wake up, and every day I have another 86,400 seconds and opportunities to try to do the best that I can with that day. So instead of saying stuck in fear or stuck where I was, it's what can I do today just to have a little bit better of a day and be a little bit better of a person. And if I keep doing that over the course of the next 4 weeks or whatever that we are still under this shelter in place, I think that a month from now, I'm going to be a completely different person.
Mm. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's beautiful. And, you know, just little by little. And
yeah,
no, it is true. I mean, I've been tackling cleaning tasks that I normally would not, but it's actually been good. It's really been good and positive, and I'm patting myself on the back.
And it's beyond the cleaning, obviously. It's everything you wanted to do. Like you said, you and Harrison are going for a walk. If you've been in inaction, getting out and just walking more. Or I thought of you this morning because getting up and moving is one big thing. I can see you and Harrison dancing a lot through this.
We do.
I bet. So it's all those little things that maybe you thought you didn't have the time for before. Just starting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one of the things that you know, I had just started to do little panels before, you know, this whole pandemic came down, and then, you know, we've had some really fascinating people coming on and sharing their wisdom. And I did mention that this is going to be the final one. I think things will be evolving into something a little bit different. Not sure where that's going, but it's going to be exciting. And, you know, it's just been, you know, a time of transition, and what are we going to move into, and can we create something sustainably wonderful, because we do have clear air over LA. Have you seen it? Can you see the sky, Susan? Yeah. And you know, they had dolphins swimming in Venice.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, amazing things. Mm-hmm. So we did hear from Je suis la plume, Jim, And he said, while competition treasures scarcity and lack, cooperation fosters diversity and abundance. And this is a time where we can be of collaboration. And I would love to see some big shifts, in the political nature of our country, which has been so divided. Maybe we have an opportunity to create greater cooperation and collaboration in that way. Harrison, what are your thoughts?
On this planet, there are two fundamental questions that I think everybody has to answer before they die, and that are the keys to where they are and who they want to be and what they experience. And those two things are, who am I, and what am I feeling? And this kind of intensity where everybody is now forced to be in this space that is their own makes us go deeper. And it makes us go deeper into those two questions, who am I and what am I feeling? Because the more you are alone or in an isolated situation, the more sensitive you become to what's around you. And that sensitivity is a path to enlightenment. So that's what I think part of the reason behind all this is. The more sensitive you become, the higher your consciousness starts to be affected by everything that's your environment, which is you anyway. But then from that point, by the way, Martha, I just thought of something when you were talking about cleaning. I just bought you a Swifter.
That was so sweet of you, Harrison. You have to show me how to use it.
Okay. I think that this experience that we're all going through simultaneously is a way to deepen who we are and answer the questions of who am I, who is humanity, what am I feeling at a given moment? Because if you're alone, you're only experiencing your feelings. Mm-hmm. So that is something that most people, and now I know from statistics, and I do a program called the Emotional Laws of Success. I know from statistics that not even 30% of the planet, or I think it's 36% of the planet know what they're feeling at any given moment while they're feeling it. They don't even know that. So wow. That's humongous. So, and what happens is that the more you get in touch with what you're feeling at any given point, the more you allow it to pass through you and you to be part of it, the greater becomes your connection to all things and your effectiveness at all things. So, when you're in touch with your emotions as they happen, then you are in the moment. And, it's the being out of the moment that causes all the problems. So the more you're in the moment, the greater becomes you. And it becomes the you.
That's beautiful, Harrison. Thank you. I wanted to read a couple of comments. We have Grace, who says that I find the greater meaning of the virus is the virus of fear. I think it is time we really come to terms with our reaction to fear. Do we become paralyzed? Do we strike out in violence? Do we go inside and heal our response? I think that's very profound. Yeah, because there has been a lot of fear around this. I know I have experienced that, and it's not an emotion that I like to hang out in. I have ways of transitioning out of it, and as soon as I find that I'm feeling some fear, boy, I am like out of it. Do not want to be there. And then Nancy also said that she loves that. She said she got chills. She said that we were part of her story, Harrison. Remember, she was on the production cruise with us. Yeah. And that we were there. But she was on her own, just out of a trauma situation, and just going very deep. And she said there's no accidents, that she's here with us for a reason. So I love that, Nancy. Thank you.
Hi, Nancy.
Charmaine, tell us, what are your thoughts?
What comes up for me is one of the most, I guess, endearing outcomes that I'm seeing that is just beautiful to watch is the sense of, I'm going to call it community spirit, because I don't have another way of describing it. But in our neighborhood, every night at 7 o'clock, we hang out our windows, go on our porch, go on the veranda, stand on the street, wherever we are, and we make noise. And we
Yes.
sell it. People are doing that all over the world. It's not just where we live. And so normally I'm at home at 7 o'clock. I make sure that we're at home and we include the dog in it. It's a big family ordeal of making noise to celebrate essential workers and first responders and hospital staff and just community, celebrating community. The other day I was walking the dog at 7. I wasn't going to make it home in time. So I was walking through this park that there's probably maybe 5 or 6 apartment buildings in very close proximity. And I just about, I just stood there and took it in. I mean, the dog was barking like crazy because there was a band playing, there was fireworks going off in the park, but it was just so beautiful to actually be right in it. You know, we were in the middle of all of this going on, and I thought, this is really beautiful that at one point people come together and we celebrate. You know, people might be celebrating different things or different people, and then, you know, as I walk along, I'm seeing all these beautiful little drawings and messages made out of sidewalk chalk. And, you know, the little there was a really cute one the other night. Make noise at 7 p.m. 10 exclamation marks. Make sure you do. And then the little girl was thanking the bus driver. So I love this sense of gratitude and acknowledgement and just people coming together and making noise. And I mean, I've never seen that in my neighborhood in the 4 years I've lived here, that many people coming together. And that just feels so reassuring. Like it instills hope. I don't know if that answered the question, but.
It's so beautiful. We were walking the other night, and outside there was a big sign. It was obviously written by hand, and it was thanking all of the hospital workers and first responders. And I just thought, oh, that's so sweet. I love that. And, you know, I haven't noticed the howling and the noise, but my daughter is telling me that in Santa Fe in their neighborhood, they're having that too. Yeah, so that's wonderful. Harrison, what were you going to say, sweetheart?
I was going to say that I just saw a video with Trevor Howard, and you know, he was in New York, and he went out on his balcony, and like they were imitating what was going on in Italy, where all the people get out on their balcony.
Oh yeah,
and they started doing that. And then in New York, you got the shots. Shut the fuck up! Get out of here! So only in New York.
I know. It's hilarious. Scott, tell me, what are your thoughts, dear?
Well, there's a number of different things. I think we have such a great, I truly believe this is a reset for the planet. And I think we all
believe that.
I think we have the opportunity to make a lot of choices right now. There's one thing that I teach and train on a lot, and that's a singular definition for 2 words. Confidence in the unseen and assurance of the unknown is the definition of fear. Because I'm confident something bad's going to happen, and I'm assured that even though it hasn't happened, it's going to happen. But it's also the definition of faith.
I was going to say.
Confidence in the unseen, assurance of the unknown. Now, there's only one place it's verified and validated, and that is that the definition is faith. And
yes.
So,
well, you had such an amazing healing experience that really, I know,
my new book right there. And after writing it for 5 years, I figured out the theme. And the theme of the book is all things work together for my good. And so that's really where I was going with this, is that God's plan and timing is perfect, whatever higher source is to you. But I truly believe that the plan and timing is perfect. I believe that we're in that place where all things are working for me, not to me.
Yep.
We have a matter of making choices. I'm stuck at home or I'm safe at home. I can choose to be with loved ones, or I'm stuck with my loved ones, right? So the point is that we're at a time where we've got enough time to be able to sit and contemplate some of these things, because we've got a little extra time on our hands. And in many cases, and really contemplate and make the decision. Now that I know there are pressures. Trust me, there's plenty of pressures in the world still. That's not the point. But you're a little bit isolated from them at the moment. And if you would just stop and be quiet for a little bit and contemplate some of these things and start to really recognize what choices could be made, and gosh, could I make a few better ones along the way, right? And so I really feel like that this is a grand opportunity. We get a do-over. I don't know, I'm old. I've never had a do-over before. I get to do a do-over, right? I mean, I get to really appreciate folks, and really, that's why it's such an honor to be here with all of you. And thank you for the invitation, Marbeth, right? There's only two answers in life, hell yes and hell no. And this was a hell yes answer. I'm going to be on this panel because we have the opportunity right now to make those kind of choices and really reset ourselves. And you know, the stuff that's so silly, it's funny. I was on another panel the other night, and somebody says, how's your business? I said, it's outstanding. And they go, well, how can it be outstanding? I said, it shifted. I'm not doing what I used to do because that's not happening right now, but other things are showing up. And because of that, I'm also realizing, you know, I used to get in the car to drive to a meeting to show up, and other people wouldn't be there that were supposed to be. And so I'm not going to those meetings. And so that time, I'm gaining back all that time, all that perspective, all that. And I'm not the only one doing that. My suggestion is, again, celebrating at 7 p.m. What a great opportunity. Charmaine, did you know before this you had neighbors? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's one of those things, right? We all have the opportunity to start making new choices from this point. And that's what's so fascinating is I've really come to understand that all things work together for my good. Now, that does not say all things are good, but it says all things work together for my good. And so the reality is, if we go into that kind of mindset, and Harrison, you've helped me a lot with that mindset, you know, in some of our conversations and things like that, of just really appreciating and greater gratitude, like you said, Charmaine, and same thing, Susan, right? You know, you just get that gratitude coming out, that attitude of gratitude, right? It is coming out and doing the little, rampages of appreciation, just doing the little stuff. There's again, I really think, although we've got some issues that we've got to deal with coming out of all this, that we're going to come out with a gentler, kinder world. I truly believe that.
I love that. That's so beautiful, Scott. I have some comments. Christine Glenn, humanity is returning to our shared holy innocence. How perfect is that? And Maria Desano, I see people being more loving and kind toward one another. Before this, I would make my same path around the lake where I live, and people would not say hello or be friendly like they are now. It's refreshing. And she said, change the way you look at things, and the things that you look at change. So Dusty Hughes says, I feel this virus has heightened the emotions that drive the person. Luckily, I have experienced love, though I have heard of much trouble and sadness as well as poor directions taken. May love conquer the world. And Diane Collins, wonderful insights, dear friends. I think it's so important to exercise our power of discernment during this great shift. We're getting a very clear message from infinite intelligence. What do we need to restructure? How can we think beyond platitudes? How can we think beyond our own beliefs to create something new? What is needed for ourselves and humanity? And Ora Gold says, yes, this is the time for us all to unite as one love, one light around the world with kindness. You know, how beautiful. I really think it is. It's such a beautiful time. And what an opportunity we have to create something very different. So how would you like to recreate what you're seeing now? How would you like to create? How do you think that we can recreate and create a whole different scenario, Susan?
You know, I've, like I said, I've been feeling like I'm a little bit in a chrysalis, and I'm transforming and recreating in a lot of different ways. One of the things I did, and I worked with you, Marbeth, and you, Harrison, years and years and years ago, and I kind of have resisted being more of a thought leader or coach or anything, and been really had my heels dug deep into the event production business. And like I said, now that sort of is non-existent for the time, I've been coming up with ways where I could take the tools and the things that I have learned and put them together in different ways. And how can I help other people who might not have the information that I have? So one of the things that I did was I put together 10 tips just to help triage and navigate the situation and survive the situation we're going through, with a lot of the same sort of techniques that I use to deal with stressful situations. Because of course, being an event producer, you're always triaging the situation and all the things that happen and come at you. So that was the first thing. And Marbeth, I'll share that with you so you can share that with your tribe as well.
I saw it. I saw parts of it coming up in different ways. So.
I have it now in an easy download thing. So I'd love to share that with people, because I think it just really helps people move through things. The other thing that was really interesting for me was I was going through LinkedIn posts the other day, and I saw something that somebody had posted in the UK about how they said that with all of the real life heroes, all of those first responders, all of the people that are working in the grocery stores, the truck drivers, the people that are, sanitation, everything, that all of the people are so integral in keeping this world moving while we're all sheltering. They said there should be an award show for them. Enough with the award shows for the celebrities and the sports heroes and the singers and the actors. And I thought, that's a great idea. I would love to be involved in that. And then all of a sudden I went, you know what? Forget about being involved in that. I can do that. So I actually got on the internet and I reached out to the Dolby Theater, because that would be the first logical place. I reached out to them. I reached out to Wolfgang Puck, got great feedback from both of them. Today, I thought that a great host would be John Krasinski, because I don't know if you've seen his Some Good News that he's doing from his own house. So every single post he had, I put a little blurb on there. Please, reach out to me, because I think you'd be the perfect host. And I think, for me, it's just redefining that, like, those everyday heroes that in the past, kind of like you were speaking about earlier, just that they're really important. And it's time to shift and change and just go to a new way where we are a little softer, we are a little more kind and loving and inclusive, and we're all working together to sort of make this a better world. So that's the way that I figured I could take my tools and my skills and hopefully make a bigger contribution.
I really love that. That's really beautiful. And I think it's really important also for us to step up and perform acts of unconditional love. Mm-hmm. For one thing, everything that we give, we're going to receive. I mean, it's a little bit selfish, but not really, because when we're coming from a selfless perspective, and what can we do on a daily basis to perform, even while we're in isolation, how can we perform acts of unconditional love for other people? But let's continue with this same question, Charmaine.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I started a few years ago, and I started it, and not that it has a completion date, but I started reaching out to people who had really impacted my life from childhood onwards. So my Brownie leader when I was in Brownies, and my Highland dance teacher, who unfortunately had passed away, but my mom was able to get the letter to her children. And so that really sort of pulled me back again to continue being in touch with people that probably have no idea that they had a profound impact on me in some way, growing up or even as an adult. So that's been one pull. The other pull is I've really become aware of, there's a lot of things in my day-to-day that I do because I think they need to be done. And this has given, you talked about discernment. That's been a real sort of focus area for me right now, really discerning where I put my time and my energy and my focus. And I'm going to continue that going forward, because I think I'll speak for myself, I can get wrapped up in being busy, doing things that feel like you're busy, and that's not necessarily where I need to be. So there's been a lot of aha moments for me, and it's a great opportunity, I think, to just kind of pay attention to those aha moments. And Susan, I really liked what you said about tapping into the skills and the expertise that you have. And I've had a similar draw to that. My background is in crisis management and worked as a correctional officer for many years and a crisis responder, and I'm finding that way earlier life of mine has become a really important part of the now for me. And I'm hearing lots of people experiencing that. Like I hear, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to get back into, I hear people sort of coming back to something that's meaningful for them or was powerful or transformational. So I think, I don't know if that answers the question, Marbeth, but I know that that's where, you know, when we think about resetting or that, how are we recreating? Those are some of the things that are going on for me right now.
I love that. I remember your kindness tour and how impactful that was. That was really
super
profound.
Fun.
Harrison.
Well, first thing I want to do is I want to see a world where Scott has a Swifter to take care of all of his cleaning.
I think you need the Swifter.
I need a Swifter too, but I'm not going to buy one for me. Well, you know, I envision a world where people are together and that they play together and that they love each other, that there's no hate, that there's no anger, there's no, you know, friction between people. And one of the things that this thing, I think, has caused me to look at is how many new synchronicities are in my life. You know, what did I think that now is happening? What did I experience that, you know, has shown up as a manifestation without my trying to experience it, and things of that nature. So as we evolve, we begin to notice more and more synchronicities and things. And I think that one of the things I would teach the world would be to pay attention to that kind of a thing. And as you notice more and more synchronicities, you come into your deep states. You come into your deep connection with Source. You come into your deep connection with life, and you notice that you are life. That there isn't life out there, but you are life. You know, you're more than just a body, and you're more than just a walk in this environment. You are the central thing that is happening. You know, that any point on a sphere is the center of that sphere. And so we are the center of a particular universe. Each one of us is the center of a particular universe. And so the beauty of being in that space and knowing that you are affecting everything that's on that sphere because you're the center of it is a place that I think humanity can really benefit by noticing. And, you know, we don't have to be, as Scott said, we don't have to be in a place where things are happening to us, they're happening for us. That we're in a place where all things that exist are something that's coming from us. So, and in that knowledge and in that greater awareness, you know, the energy expands and continuously expands, and we notice the expansion, which then becomes more of us. And what is the greatest portion of life is to knowing more of us, living at greater energy, living at more vitality, experiencing, you know, what is the love of everything. And the love of everything is the love of us. You know, so
you know, I have some observations that I wanted to share. One is that I have been feeling so incredibly supportive. Just as everything came down and, you know, this whole pandemic, some good fortune came to me, you know, from a very interesting source. You know, it was completely unrelated to my life, and it just came in, and I thought, oh, there's my message. I'm supported. I don't need to worry now. And if we go into the space that we know that we are supported, that we have that faith, as Scott was saying, that we can trust, what a beautiful thing. And I know that after 9/11, there was so much love and compassion that the energy of the planet was actually measured to show how much love and compassion it increased exponentially. It was shown, it was measured by our friends at HeartMath and some of their compatriots, and what a beautiful thing that was. And I think that's happening here as well, that there is this opportunity for us. But let's not just have this, for a little short period of time. Let's see this go longer and become a part of the fabric of our lives, so that it's going to continue, and it's going to be something absolutely amazing, that maybe from now on there will be more people working from home. This could not, if this had happened 20 years ago, we didn't have the technology for this.
We wouldn't, no.
We would have been stuck in our homes, maybe using a phone or a conference line, but we wouldn't have this video communication, which is just such a major component to this connection, this deeper connection. So what a blessing, and I also have the mantra, everything always goes right for me. And I always know that it does. And so I think having that mindset really creates miracles in your lives. And all of these miracles are the connections that we have with each other, the love that we can reach out and share with people that may be isolated or feeling lonely. How can we reach out to them? And I know we're getting close to the hour, and I don't really like to have this go on too long, but I thought if everybody could have a very short little round of how can we reach out and make people's lives better, people who are isolated. Charmaine, would you like to start?
Yeah, I love this conversation of reaching out and make lives better. And I think I feel like it's the simple acts. It's not anything that takes huge amount of effort or work or planning. It's those in the moment. I think it was Susan, you were talking about, walking, or maybe it was one of the comments you read, Marbeth. It was one of the comments when walking and people are saying hello. I really feel that acknowledgement right now. And that's something that I'm really, really committed to myself when I'm outside walking or see the neighbors. I really make that extra effort to acknowledge now, and from a distance approach people, like engage people, I guess would be a better word. And again, I want to get back to writing letters. I miss writing letters. I can't read my handwriting anymore, but I miss writing letters. I don't want to email. I want to actually lick the stamp and put it on the envelope and pop it in the mailbox. And that's
nice.
That's one of the reconnections I'll commit to.
I love that. Scott, what about you?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to share is when you take that definition and you run faith as the foundational message, right? Confidence in the unseen, assurance of the unknown. It's belief in the positive going forward. And one of the things that I encourage is creating an evidence log, because when you have the faith, it is yet to happen. But down the road, it does happen. And so when you evidence it, when it does happen, it will strengthen that down the road for you. And so my encouragement would be to evidence the positive coming to you. Evidence that faith being viable and worthy of your efforts. And then I would say, like Charmaine is really take this time to acknowledge the things that you think are so little that aren't so little. And the little extra thank you here, the extra phone call. I do a thing called contact roulette. I actually take my phone, spin down it, stop on it, and I purposely leave a voicemail. Hey, this is Scott Schilling. I'm the president of your fan club. Just want to let you know you are freaking awesome. Give me a call.
I love that. That's beautiful.
And I'll do that 5 times a day. And you can't imagine the calls that you get back from that of, how did you know I needed that today?
Oh,
my finger must have. I didn't, right? Source knew that you needed that call. So again, I think they're these little pieces of appreciation, little pieces of kindness, thankfulness, a variety of different things. It's really not the big things that make the difference. It's a lot of little things just over and over. And sometimes that gets boring, but be boring. Just have some fun doing it.
I love that. Susan.
You know, it's going back to both sort of what Charmaine and Scott were both saying. You know, it's really important, I think, to reconnect with people right now. And I get a sense that we're all doing okay, but there's still a lot of people out there that aren't, is still in fear and panic and anxiety. And I think that the more that we can sort of reach out and help those that are out there that might need that extra hand and just reconnect with people, because for a lot of people, it does feel like you're alone. And thank God for the internet, as we've all said, you really aren't. You're just separate, but nobody's alone right now. Everyone has somebody they can reach out to. So I just encourage people that you might be the light that somebody needs, or the one that can raise the high tides right now. And it's really important to do that. And then the other thing is just, you know, gratitude and appreciation. And for those who still are in a place where they don't know if they're going to be able to pay their mortgage bills or their rent, and their jobs might be falling apart, you know, there's still a lot of gratitude to be had for all the things that we have. From, you know, most of us still have a roof over our house, you know, over our head. We still have running water. We still have heat. We still have the internet. We're able to connect with one another. And there are a lot of people that might not be in that situation. So wherever we can sort of reach out and give somebody else a hand up or a hand out, I just think that puts you back in a heart-centered place where you realize how much you do have still and how much you have the opportunity to still create. So,
and to share.
Marbeth, can I add one little thing?
Of course.
And I meant to say this before. I'm a languaging guy. Words are really important. You want to make a difference in somebody's life? Encourage them to do proper physical distancing without social distancing.
I love
Be
that.
social, separate physically.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to share something, and we're going to get to Harrison because we're saving the best for last here. That one of the things that I've been inspired to do is to celebrate as if it's already happened, the new world that we're going to create. So let's celebrate as if it's already happened. That's how we bring things into fruition. This is, you know, pure law of attraction. And what a great way to pull in what it is that we want: the love, the sharing, the collaboration. And as Diane Collins added, she said, this is what's important. We have the wake-up alarm, like 9/11, and then people hit the snooze button. This wake-up has to be sustained. That is our task now. Christine Glenn, you don't have to pay to laugh, and it does not cost a penny to smile, and I thank the infinite source of all for this gift. And Musa Issa Gibrin, I always feel happy when I see positive, inspirational quotes sharing with me, either a video. Oh, that's my page that and then Maria Desano is, all of you rock, love this group. I said, you know, we're saving the best for last here. This is an amazing group. Harrison, what would you like to share? Very, very quick little wrap up, because I don't like to go too far over the hour.
Well, you know, I think that the length of the time that we've been in this process here is really significant, because what we know from psychological research is that it takes anywhere between 21 to 61 days to install new habits forever. And that, you know, we're installing new habits. All of us are installing new habits, and that's a restructuring. Second thing that I want to say that I think is really incredible is the fact that, you know, we, at least at this level with our connections out there, with all of our connections out there, you know, we are light workers in a way that helps bring relief to other people by our simple attitudes and frequencies. And one of the great things that we do that helps give relief is being playful. And I'm very, very much into, at least lately, a lot about playfulness. And the more playful we are, you know, the more relief we give to other people. Because when you are playful, your burdens release. When you are playful, you are not under the stress of all these difficult times. When you're playful, you know, you are not overly indulged in the things that make life difficult. So, you know, and we can just let that happen. So those of us who who have ever read Norman Cousins or anything about that, you know, he was locked in a hotel room for 6 years. 6 weeks. He was diagnosed with a certain incurable disease that he would die within a couple of weeks, basically, and he locked himself in a hotel room and watched comedy tapes. What he found was 10 minutes of laughter relieved 2 hours of pain. And now, 25 years later, or 25 years after that, he was still going strong as the medical professor of medical something or other, emeritus at Stanford or something like that. But the playfulness of what goes on, if we can make the perspective of things being absurd and playful as part of our internal structure, opens us up to having the most amount of effectiveness in what we can feel, what other people can feel, and how we cooperate and collaborate with each other and grow and evolve together. So
Beautiful, Harrison.
That's my
Inspirational as always. Speaking of inspirational, you guys have been the absolute best panel ever. And you totally rock. Thank you so much. You know, I'm thinking maybe we'll have a celebration party next. Maybe that's where these things.
Yeah.
That's it.
These,
Good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I know.
Love it.
Yeah. So
Let's all howl.
we're gonna have part two.
That's right.
Love you guys. Thank you so
Marbeth.
much.
Thank you so much.
all for joining us. We love you all.